Morning. Just in terms of protocol for this morning, I will be making a few brief remarks and then we'll entertain questions from members of the media, and then we will conclude this media event. Let me begin by saying that over the past few days and weeks there have been what I believe to be numerous misleading statements made about the policies and practices of Rockingham County Public Schools and its employees. In talking individually with my colleagues on the school board, it became evident to me that they shared many of the same concerns as I. Let me be perfectly clear that it has never been this person nor this board's intent to become involved in a political race that is currently ongoing. But it has become increasingly clear to me that as these misrepresentations escalate, that the defense of the integrity of our employees and the peace of mind of our employees, of our parents, require us to be here this morning. As I spoke again individually with my colleagues and let them know of my intentions to be here this morning, I am very pleased that each of them have chosen to be here this morning. I can tell you that never in my past 2 years of service have I been more proud to call these gentlemen my colleagues than this morning. Not because I believe that they're here to have my back, but because I believe that they are here, as we all are here, to have the backs of our employees and our students. So thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Our school division is blessed with dedicated and caring teachers and staff, engaged parents, a supportive board of supervisors, and citizens who value our public schools, which educate all children from all backgrounds. They understand the hard work and commitment to building positive relationships that it takes to sustain what we have in our Rockingham County Public Schools. Our citizens are also wise enough to appreciate that in a political campaign season, there may be those who want to make misrepresentative, misleading, and negative arguments in order to gain sound bites. So it is only fair to everyone who gives so much in positive ways for our school children that some reminders are offered about any misguided effort at politicizing our public schools and children. Our school board and our teachers and staff are committed to excellence in education. No one endorses or supports the social promotion of children from one grade level to the next. Instead, we expect and demand achievement and accountability. Just ask our teachers and our parents. Our dedicated teachers and staff cannot be thanked enough for their work. Instead of being politically criticized, they deserve our appreciation and our encouragement. We wish we could pay them more than a one-time extra amount when, as we all should know and appreciate, they've gone years without any real increase in pay. We ask you to just thank them a little more once in a while. Our school board adopts policies that it believes reflect the law. When it comes to our employees and students, our school board has a commitment to a work and study environment which does not tolerate hostility or bullying against anyone or other unacceptable behavior. We believe in our pillars of character. A year or so ago, the school board approved in public a policy which makes it clear, consistent with law and our pillars of character, that unlawful discrimination is not acceptable. It does not create any new category for special protection, and it does not authorize a male student to use a designated female restroom or a female student to use a designated male restroom. Our schools continue to operate with regard for positive community values and standards, including non-discrimination. Just ask our students, who come from all kinds of backgrounds, some with difficult personal struggles and without personal advantages. Our devoted school principals, assistant principals, and other administrators are thoroughly involved in our schools during both the day and night, seeking to make things even better for our staff and school children. They care deeply. Just follow them around and see the hours they put into their service. They deserve appreciation. Our Board of Supervisors, even during tight budget times, keeps an open mind to our school financial needs. They listen, they care, and they try to be a part of a positive effort to find solutions and not just criticize. Watch them as they diligently go about balancing the competing needs in a growing county. We should, and we do, thank them too. It's easy to criticize, but true leadership, especially for our schools and students, demonstrates a regard for what's good and positive. We are proud of our schools even as we continue to look for opportunities to improve them. There is much that is right about our schools and the people who serve them and serve in them, and our informed citizens know it. Thank you. Any questions from the media?
You were talking about tough budget times. Are you referring specifically to the bonus that was given that's been referred to, I guess, by Dave Breeden and candidate forums?
There have been references made to our inabilities to provide anything other than a one-time bonus, and we have all recognized and appreciate the need to pay our deserving teachers and educators more, but they have been tight budget times. And we recognize and we appreciate that they deserve more than what they currently get. And we work and advocate diligently to try to correct that problem. So I think any attempts to diminish any ability that we've had to show our appreciation through financial methods is unfortunate at best. The bonus was the best we could do with what we had at the time. And to suggest or insinuate that it was somehow a shallow attempt to compensate folks is most unfortunate.
What are you referring to? Are you referring to the issue of bullying that Mr. Breeden had brought up before, or are you referring to more?
Well, let me be clear. My remarks, I said that it had never been my intent, nor is it my intent now, to be involved in one of the political races. In fact, I can tell you that every member of the current board have made ourselves available to any of the candidates who might wish to ask us questions if they wish about things. And so what I mean is that we're not here today to endorse any candidates. We're here to set the record straight on some information. When I hear that administrators are having to answer phone calls, and I hear that superintendent is having to use up time that should be spent educating our children and making sure our children are safe, to answer these bogus claims that we're allowing, as it was stated yesterday, 18-year-old boys to go in the bathroom with 13-year-old girls. It's time in our leadership role to stand up and assure our communities and just say that's not accurate. And you can send, people entrust their kids. We all have kids, grandkids in the schools, and parents and grandparents entrust us with the safety and well-being of their children, and we take that pretty seriously, really seriously. And our effort here today is to reassure them that these claims are just not based in fact.
I guess what is the purpose of the policy? Is it to protect kids, or?
The policy is to protect kids from harassment and bullying. That's plain and simple. School board policies, by their very nature, and I'm not an attorney, so I ask your indulgence there, but school board policy has to be, through its very nature, it cannot be both too vague nor too specific. There have to be parameters defined in examples of what you mean. For example, when we say that we do not allow gang symbols in our school, it's not enough to just say gang symbols. We have to provide instances, examples of some things that might meet the definition of gang symbols. When we work with our dress code and we say that certain articles of clothing are not acceptable, we have to specify, recognizing that we cannot identify every article of clothing or every symbol that we might run into. And such is the case with the bullying and harassment policy. There has to be parameters listed to be not too vague, not too specific in terms of the areas that we're talking about. And let me just also say that with regard to the intent of the policy, I think any of us who have watched the news as of late have seen far too many instances of young kids who have felt that they were being harassed or bullied because they were somehow perceived to be different, to the point of suicides. And we certainly don't want that in Rockingham County. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to protect everyone from harassment and bullying within our school setting.
With regards to Mr. Breeden's specific problems with the policy that Virginia is a dealing state and that the school board is not within their authority to make a policy such as this unless it's in state law, is it the position of the school board that that is incorrect and that the policy is not legal?
The representations that have been made as to what the policy does is incorrect.
And are you referring specifically to the bathroom claim?
Yes, that's certainly one of them. That simply does not happen.
So is the policy illegal, though?
I don't believe that it is. Yet I think that it is consistent with law. I think that it is consistent with Department of Justice rulings. The Virginia School Boards Association has come forth with a policy very similar. We're not in the business of adopting policies that are illegal.
But wouldn't you have to get, I guess, approval from the state to change?
No. Not as it relates to anti-bullying, no. I'm not opposed. Let me just add this. I am one who is not opposed to debate. Anyone who knows the workings of this board knows that we don't always see things on a 5-0 vote. I think it's I think it speaks highly that all five are here this morning in agreement with this position, because we welcome debate. We welcome differing points of view. But there has to be a baseline of fact in order to begin debate. And the facts simply do not bear out claims that we allow male students to use female facilities and vice versa. And I just use that as an example. We can debate whether we should have the policy, but I don't see how we can continue debate on something that the policy does not do. I'm willing to have that discussion anytime, anywhere, as I know my colleagues are. But we felt that we needed to step up and say this morning to our employees who have been accused of social promotion, who have been accused of unlawful searches and seizures and things like that, that one, we don't do that in Rockingham County School, and to the parents of Rockingham County, we don't allow some of the things that are being stated as fact that we do. So, other questions?
One other thing that Mr. Breeden had brought up was that teachers, who are transgender could leave on Friday as a woman and come back on Monday dress up as a male, and that the policies allow that. Is that something that would happen?
Another inaccurate statement, and I would just ask the question, has that ever happened?
Are you guys looking at the policy? Is there any possibility that you guys are going to examine this more and possibly change anything, or is this kind of a done deal?
Emily, let me say this. You've followed the Rockingham County School Board long enough to know that we're willing to take a look at anything where it merits taking a look at. We're not going to take a look at sound policy based on incorrect facts.
You will not take a look at this policy.
I'm not saying we won't ever take a look at it. We're not going to take a look at it as a result of claims that it allows some of the things that are being alleged that it allows, because it simply does not.
What other things besides bullying do you think that have been inaccurate that have been brought up?
Well, I think that, and I've mentioned a few, the social promotion, the unlawful searches and seizures. I think that,
Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, it has been suggested through social media that we have teachers and administrators who are seizing cell phones and whatnot to look through them to see what students have, and that's not the case.
And how did that come about?
My mind works differently than others. I can't answer that. Thank you very much for coming this morning, and we look forward to continued discussion as we move forward. Thank you.